Dear students, welcome to Insight Academy. In today's session, we're going to have a discussion of your GS Prelims test paper of economic development. I hope by this time all of you have attempted your test paper, you have checked your marks, and you have got to know how many marks have you scored. Kindly keep this test paper with you so that you can match your answers and you can get to know what kind of mistakes were committed. Always keep in mind that many of these mistakes which you have committed today are avoidable. So try to analyze what you could have avoided, because these avoidable mistakes will actually ensure that you qualify prelims. And if you make 4-5 avoidable mistakes, it means the chance is almost over. So always try to avoid everything which can be avoided. Try to score every such mark which you can score just by increasing little attention, increasing little focus in your examination hall. Let's start with introduction. So this is a paper of economy development, and as you know, economy development covers all the issues related to conceptual and dynamic aspects of Indian economy. That could be internal economic aspects such as agriculture, trade, commerce, industries, policies of government. That could be external aspects, current account, capital account, balance of payment. So all those kind of issues we have tried to cover here. I hope you have already seen those things. So all the concepts which have been covered in today's paper, you must be thorough. And if you have faced any problem in that, try to learn more about those concepts, because these concepts are being asked by UPSC repeatedly. So as always in this paper, you have 100 questions, and out of these 80 questions are related to your subject, that is economy development, and the last 20 questions are related to current affairs or current developments. So let us start with question number 1. Question number 1 talks about GDP. So when you study economics, you come across many such concepts: GDP, NDP, GNP, NNP, GDP at factor cost, GDP at market prices, real GDP, nominal GDP. All these kind of concepts related to GDP, you must note down on a separate sheet so that you can analyze them, you can revise them, and you can master them, because these concepts are very, very important to the foundations of your economics. Let's see. GDP is most often used by government of a country to measure the economic health. In this regard, read the following statements carefully. So every time you hear about quarter 1, quarter 2, quarter 3, quarter 4 GDP numbers, overall GDP numbers of last year, how much have we grown this year, how much did we grow last year, how much we are likely to grow next year. So GDP is a very important parameter of economic growth. Gross domestic product. What is GDP? As the name says, domestic product. So whatever economic production happens within the boundaries, geographical boundaries of country, within 1 year, one financial year, means from 1st of April to 31st of March. So entire production within the geographical boundaries of country by Indians or by foreigners, by Indian companies or by even MNCs and TNCs, that is calculated in GDP. GDP is every kind of addition that has happened. Some additions could be negative and some additions could be positive. So keep in mind those things also. For example, if somebody falls sick and person has to be admitted to hospital, so the bill of 1 month could be in lakhs, the person may be entirely impoverished, person's family economic system could be completely broken, but that contributes to increase in GDP, because health sector is making more money, health sector is producing more things. Think of the situation: you are stuck in a traffic and your car is on, you are burning fuel, you are contributing to environmental pollution, you are losing time in the process, but GDP of the country is growing because you are using fuel. So these kind of things are negative. So GDP contributes every such incremental increase in production, whether that is due to bad elements or that is due to good elements, that is due to good economic activities or due to bad economic activities. Here the quality of economic activity is not taken into account. Only the addition, only the production, only the monetary value is taken into account. So always keep that in mind. That is why nowadays you hear in newspapers that GDP is old, outdated concept. GDP does not really reflect the true economic development well-being of the people of a country. Might be values increasing, but might be values increasing due to negative factors. Many families might be broken in the process of increasing that GDP. So have that thing in your mind. Real GDP is the value of GDP calculated at current prices. Current prices means the prices which include inflation. So current prices mean the prices plus inflation, or the real production plus increase due to inflation or decrease due to deflation. That is nominal GDP. Nominal GDP means the GDP at current prices. Current prices means the factor cost plus the inflation. Both are taken into account. That becomes nominal GDP. And when you reduce or when you take out the inflation value, that becomes real GDP. So this point is wrong here. Real GDP is not the value calculated at current prices, it's calculated at fixed prices. Nominal GDP is the value of GDP calculated at current prevailing prices or current prices. Second point, nominal GDP is inflation adjusted. Inflation adjusted is real GDP. Nominal GDP is inflation plus or in accordance with inflation. So that way you have to keep in mind. Both the points are wrong here. Number third, the changes in real GDP are directly related to changes in the volume of production. So volume of production definitely is the key to GDP. But in case of nominal GDP, suppose this year we have, let's say, 2 lakh crore. We have more than 2 lakh crore of production today. Something around 320, 330. That's what we have reached now. So if suppose we have 3 lakh crore of production, and this 3 lakh crore of production remains 3 lakh crore of production next year also, but the rate of inflation could be 10%. So real GDP has not grown. Suppose we talk about year A and year B. So real GDP has not grown from real A to year A to year B, but the nominal GDP has grown by 10% because inflation has been 10%. So that way inflation plays an important role. But if we have to calculate GDP in dollar, we keep talking about $10 trillion, $30 trillion economy. This nominal GDP will not really make any impact in value of our economy in terms of foreign currency. Because at that time, your inflation will not be taken into account. So it could be the same. Real GDP could be the same. Nominal could grow. Real GDP could decrease. Let's say it goes down by 295 lakh. But the nominal could also grow if inflation is high. So that way you have to link real GDP versus the nominal GDP. So changes in real GDP are directly related to changes in volume of production. Always keep in mind, had this been nominal GDP, that might not have been correct. That would have been incorrect. So point number 3 is correct here. Point number 1 and 2 are incorrect. How many of the statements? Only one statement is right. So option here, A. With reference to barter exchange means I have banana, you need mango. We can exchange. I'm tired of eating banana, you're tired of eating mango, let us change. So you need banana, I need mango, we can change. I manufacture, say, these markers or remote control devices, you manufacture TV. Then we can work together. You need some of these, I need some of them, so we can exchange. So that is barter. You have something for me, I have something for you, we can work together. The economic exchanges that involve no mediation of money. Money means always cash, you can say. Our effort is barter exchange. So there's no money, it's goods exchange, that is barter system. Barter system was prevalent in ancient times. For the first time, coins in India were issued in 6th century BC. So think of Vedic age, think of Harappan civilization, think of Stone Age. All those times were having economic systems based on barter. It provides a simple method for individuals or organizations in a large economy to trade their surplus with one another. In large economy, barter system cannot function. Barter system can function in a very small economy, where you have few bananas or few mangoes extra. I have few bananas extra. If I have tons of bananas and you have tons of mangoes, I won't need tons of mangoes to eat. You won't need tons of bananas to eat. So we have to find large number of people, those who have this dual coincidence of wants. So that will be very, very difficult to operate. It is easy to carry forward. It's very, very difficult to carry forward. Suppose you have 10 truck full of mangoes with you, then how would you keep it? And if you keep it in storage, it might be ruined in few months. You can't really use it next year. So that way it's very difficult to store wealth under barter system. Barter exchange often leads to economic phenomena known as double coincidence of wants. Double coincidence of wants means I have something for you, you have something for me. We can sit and we can exchange. Then only barter system can work in most of the cases. So that is the problem here. This is true. So how many of the statements are correct? Statement number 1 is correct and number 4 is correct. So only 2. So this picture depicts the double coincidence of wants. If you have something, somebody has something else, you can exchange those goods, those services. That is the key to barter system. Question number 3. With reference to difference between consumer price index CPI and GDP deflator, consider the following statements. So what is GDP deflator? GDP deflator indicates the inflation in an economy. GDP deflator is equal to nominal GDP divided by real GDP multiplied by 100. So if your nominal GDP is, let's say, 310 lakh crore, real GDP is, let's say, 300 lakh crore, multiply by 100, how much comes out to be? 3.3 around. So you can find out how much is the rate of inflation in that particular economy. So GDP deflator indicates the ratio between nominal GDP and the real GDP. This indicates the kind of inflation or price rise in an economy. Similar thing is indicated by consumer price index. So both are quite similar, but both have fundamental differences. CPI is based on a basket of goods. GDP has everything within that economy, within the boundaries, geographical boundaries of the country. So GDP takes into account everything that is being produced within the boundaries of the country. CPI may have some of those goods in the basket which are imported. So those things you need to keep in mind. Unlike GDP deflator, CPI takes into account all the goods and services produced in a country. Opposite. GDP deflator takes into account all the goods and services produced in a country. CPI basket of goods may have some of the commodities which are imported. Unlike CPI, GDP deflator does not include price of imported goods. That's correct. GDP within the geographical boundaries or domestically produced goods. CPI may have some of the goods which are imported from outside world. Unlike CPI, the weight assigned to goods differ according to production level of each good in GDP deflator. That's correct. So GDP is the sum total of all kinds of production. It means in that sum total of production, every good, every service has its own ratio. But CPI ratio is fixed. So 1 is wrong, 2 and 3 are correct. How many of the above statements are correct? Always keep in mind instructions. So this is only 2. Which of the following are part of revenue receipts? Revenue receipt means government gets something, but government does not create any obligation for future income without any corresponding liability. Income tax, you don't have to, government is not required to pay back this income tax. Sales of share in public sector undertaking, this is not revenue receipt, this is capital receipt, because revenue receipt means your assets are not getting reduced, you are not selling something which you already have, and whatever you're getting you don't have to pay back. Capital receipt means either you have to pay back, you're borrowing, or you're selling your asset which you already have with you, so that creates capital receipt. Sales of shares in public sector undertaking, that is a part of capital receipt because the assets of government are getting reduced in the process. Corporation tax, any tax is a revenue receipt. Provident fund is a liability, government will have to pay back to the people. Customs duties is again a revenue receipt. Whatever you collect, you don't have to pay back. So which of the following are part of revenue receipt? 1, 3 and 5. So this chart is very, very important. You must note it down. Government budget has two kinds of receipts, revenue and the capital side. Revenue receipt have tax, non-tax revenue. Then expenditure is there in the budget. Plan expenditure, non-plan expenditure. Plan expenditure means creation of new asset, new kind of provisions for new facilities. Suppose school, hospital, all those things are being set up. If it is new, it's plan. If it is not new, it's already under construction, already in operation, and you're spending more on it, that is non-plan expenditure. Capital budget has capital receipt and capital expenditure. Capital expenditure means plan and non-plan. So that we have to see it. Select the correct answer using the codes given below. So option here is 1, 3 and 5. That is C. In the context of revenue collected by government, consider the following statements. Tax revenue forms an important component of revenue receipt, not capital receipt. So capital receipt will not have tax revenue. In progressive income taxation, the tax rate is applied according to the income of an individual. That's correct. Progressive means somebody, let's say in India we have say 0 to 5 lakh, one slab, 5 to 10 lakh, second slab, 10 to 15 lakh, third slab, 15 lakh and more, fourth slab. So here rate is 5%, it could end up 0. Then you have something different rate here. So that way, progressive taxation, the more you earn, the higher is the tax rate applied to you. Cash grants in aid from foreign countries and international organizations forms part of non-tax revenue. Of course, grants in aid from foreign countries and organizations is a part of non-tax receipts or non-tax income. So this is correct here. How many are correct? Only 2. Question number 6. In WTO terminology, subsidies are in general identified by boxes of different colors. With reference to this, match the following boxes. So there are colors here. Colors like blue box. Subsidies that limit production are put in blue box. For the easy identification, these boxes are named after color, or these criteria are termed as color boxes. Then you have amber box. Subsidies that distort balance because they encourage excessive production, they are put in amber box, number C. Green box, minimal disruption of trade balance, minimal negative impact on the economic activities among the countries. That is green box. So all these boxes you must know, these are being asked repeatedly. So option here is B1, C2, A3. You can see here WTO subsidy regime. So option is C. Question number 7. In the context of gross domestic product, which of the following statements are correct? GDP is the sum total of the value of goods and services created within the geographical boundary of country in a particular year. Perfectly correct. GDP of a country can be taken as an index of welfare of the people of the country. Not really. Because this GDP, whatever the number is increasing, this might be actually the production of say 10, 50 or 100 companies. Everybody else in that country may not be adding any value to the GDP production. If population is growing, per capita income will go down. In that manner also, if population is decreasing, GDP is not increasing, per capita income will increase. So that way you cannot really say this is welfare. This might be exploitation, because these 10 companies or 20 companies might be making money by exploiting the remaining population of the country. GDP does not include the net factory income earned by the domestic factors of production employed in the rest of the world. So rest of the world will have GNP, not GDP. So this is correct here. So 1 and 3 are correct, second is wrong. Option 1 and 3. So keep looking at instructions. Which among the following economic parameters forms part of narrow money? Narrow money means something which is easily available for expenditure. You have in your pocket, you have in your home, you have in your current account, saving account, that you can just go and swipe the credit card, debit card, and you can spend. That is narrow money, something which can be easily spent. Currency held by public, narrow money. Time deposit is fixed deposit, not a narrow money. You have to break your FDs, and for that you have to pay certain cost. Foreign currencies are not narrow money. You cannot use them directly. You have to go back to bank or RBI to exchange them into domestic currency. And demand deposit. Demand deposit means CASA, saving account, current account. So 1 and 4 are correct here. These are part of narrow money. Others are part of broad money. In a modern economy, money consists mainly of currency notes and coins. In this regard, read the following statements carefully. The balance in the saving account or the current account deposits held by the public in commercial banks is considered money. So whatever is part of the banks, whatever is part of the account of the banks is money. Whatever you have in your account, whatever companies have in their account, that is termed as money. In India, the Reserve Bank of India is the only entity authorized to issue currency notes. Not really. All the coins are issued by Ministry of Finance. And currency notes of rupee 1 value are again issued by Ministry of Finance. So RBI manages currency notes of all. RBI manages coins, but RBI does not issue all currency notes and all the coins. Number 3, the value of currency notes and coins is derived from the intrinsic value. No, we are living in the age of token currency or fiat currency. So fiat means the order of the government. The government's promise gives any value to the note. You have, let's say, 1,000 rupee note, 2,000 rupee note, 500 rupee note. That is not worth 500. That is piece of paper, is just a piece of paper. Your government says we are no longer accepting it. So 1 and 3, 1 is right, are incorrect, 2 and 3 are incorrect. So option here is B. Question number 10. With reference to components of annual budget, consider following pairs. Capital expenditure. Capital expenditure means, as I just explained you, expenditure or on creation of asset or maintenance of asset. If new asset is being created, plan expenditure. If old asset is being maintained, non-plan expenditure. So capital expenditure, asset and asset here could be land. You purchase land, acquire land, and then you can build it. Use it for construction, roads, bridge, ports, or hospitals, etc. Capital receipt, sale of treasury bill. Treasury bill is a certificate that carries a coupon rate, and government promises to pay that coupon rate after a specific time that is mentioned in that treasury bill certificate. Bill means certificate. Revenue expenditure, interest payment on the market loans, because you are getting nothing for that. That is a cost. That's the revenue expenditure. So, which of the pairs given above not correctly matched? 1 is not correctly matched and 3 is not correctly matched. So 1 and 3. Number 11. With reference to the foreign institutional investors, consider following statements. It is an entity established outside India which proposes to make investment in India. Perfectly correct. That's meaning of foreign institutional investors, FIIs. FIIs looking to invest in India are required to be registered with SEBI, not RBI, with Securities and Exchange Board of India. So SEBI. Pension funds, mutual funds, and merchant bankers are eligible to get registered as FIIs. Perfectly correct. They are the biggest investors from all over the world. Are not correct, only 2. 1 and 3 are correct, 2 is not correct, so only 2. Liberalization of trade and investment regime was carried out in India in 1991. These trade policy reforms were aimed at. So before 1991, there was a lot of state control in terms of QR, quantitative restrictions, quality restrictions. Then you had tariff barriers, high tariff barriers, or custom duties used to be very, very high. Then license quota Raj was there. Dismantling of quantitative restrictions on imports and export, that is correct. It's a part of liberalization or LPG scheme. Reduction of tariff rate. Taxes should be reduced so that more trade could happen with outside world. We can have best of the goods from outside world, and we can have better production inside the country due to positive competition. A strengthening of licensing procedures for imports. No, reducing of licensing procedures. Licensing Raj should be reduced or was reduced. Promoting the efficiency of local industries and adoption of modern technologies. Perfectly correct. This is the intention behind liberalization. So choose the correct answer. 1, 2, and 4. Option is C. So keep reading questions carefully. Questions are not that difficult, but you have to pay attention. Slight lapse of attention will result in a mistake, and mistake will cost you hugely. So ensure that you are fully focused onto the question paper when you are sitting in examination hall. Consider following goods. How many of the above are examples of consumption goods? Consumption goods means which are used by the final consumer, and there is no other use of that. You buy, you use them in the final form. Whatever is there, that's not further processed. Clothing, you buy a shirt, you use it, consumption good. Tea leaves you cannot use, you have to process them, you have to make tea, so this is not a consumption good. Milk you can drink, ice cream you can enjoy. 1, 3, and 4. So 3. How many are 3? So option is C. 40 number. Consider following pairs. Mahatma Gandhi National Rural Employment Guarantee Act. It aims to provide 100 days of wage employment. That is perfectly correct. What do we have to do? Which of the following are matched correctly? So you have to match them. So first is matched. Second, Prime Minister Rozgar Yojana. It aims to create self-employment in rural area. That's not Prime Minister. That is Rural Employment Guarantee Generation. So 3 will carry to 2. And Pradhan Mantri Rozgar Yojana will result in, it aims to achieve objective of sustainable? No. It aims to create self-employment opportunity. This is for number 2. And number 3, Pradhan Mantri Gramodaya Yojana. This aims to create sustainable development, is a part of Gramodaya Yojana. So 1 and 4 are correctly matched. 2 and 3 are incorrectly matched. So how many of the pairs are correctly matched? 1 and 4. Option is D. Question number 15. Which of the following central public sector enterprises bear status of Maharatna? So these CPSCs are classified in Mini Ratna, Maharatna categories, and then they are given higher degree of autonomy so that they can manage their affairs in a profitable manner with high degree of efficiency and effectiveness. So GAIL India Limited, of course, is there. NTPC, yes. ONGC, yes. Bharat Petroleum BPCL, yes. Engineers India Limited is not there. So 1, 2, 3, 4, these are part of Maharatna category CPSCs. C. Question number 16. The money supply is the entire stock of nation's currency. With reference to this, read the following statements carefully. Money supply is a stock variable because it is expressed at the particular point of time. That's correct. Money supply will keep on increasing or decreasing. M4 also known as narrow money. No, M4 is broad money. M1, M2 narrow money, M3, M4 broad money. So this is not correct. Is considered liquid among all. M1 is most liquid. M4 is most illiquid. The interbank deposits held by commercial banks are considered as a part of money. Interbank deposits are not considered as a part of money. So only one is correct. Option is A. Question number 17. In the context of currency deposit ratio, CDR, currency deposit ratio means how much do you have, how much the people have in their pocket or with them in cash versus how much is their deposit in bank. So pocket B by bank, you can see what you have with you and what you have in your bank. The ratio of that is CDR. It is the ratio of money held by public in currencies to that held in bank deposits. That's correct. A higher CDR reflects people's preference for deposit, people's preference for cash. Higher CDR means people are preferring cash. They are not getting something or some incentive by depositing money in the bank. They are trying to have money in their hands. The fall in CDR is an indicator of incidence of liquidity in banking system. Fall in CDR means currency is reaching banking system. And if currency is reaching banking system, it means banks can use that currency to give loans. It means increase in liquidity. That's correct. 1 and 3 are correct. Option is C. 18 number. RBI uses various policy instruments to bring forth a healthy reserve deposit ratio. You have CRR, you have SLR. So all these things are there. So you have to keep those things in mind. A statutory liquidity ratio is a minimum percentage of deposit that a commercial bank must keep with RBI. That is CRR, cash reserve ratio, not SLR. SLR, the bank must keep this much with itself in liquid form all the time. Cash reserve ratio requires the banks to maintain a fraction of their total deposits in the form of specific liquid assets, that is SLR. So both are oppositely matched here. Or you can say these terms you have to interchange. Banks must hold a part of money with their as a reserve money. That's correct. So 3 is correct. Others are wrong. Option is A. Which of the following economic assets are included in asset category of balance sheet of Reserve Bank of India? Asset category. Asset category means the bank is not required to give those things back to somebody. Bank doesn't owe those things to anyone else. Currency held by public, that is the public money, not asset is a liability. That's not with the RBI. In fact, gold is RBI's money, foreign exchange RBI's money. Deposits of commercial banks, again, you have to give back to the banks as and when they need it. So 2 and 3 are assets, 1 and 4 are part of liability. 2 and 3, A. With reference to the high-powered money, read the following statements carefully. It consists of currency in circulation and deposits held by Government of India and commercial banks with RBI. That's high-powered money. Means this is the money that is driving economy forward. That's the money in circulation and that's available for liquidity. Total amount of money in the economy is always more than the volume of high-powered money. But there is something called low-powered money. So that is also part of the money. High-powered money does not include currency held by the public. It includes currency held by the public. That's the meaning of currency in circulation. So 1 is correct, 2 and 3 are wrong. Only 1 is correct. 21. Consider following statements in the context of RBI. RBI stands by the commercial banks as a guarantor and extends loan to ensure solvency of the latter. That's correct. Bank to the bank. RBI serves as a banker for both central bank and the government, state government. That's correct. Every citizen of India is allowed to open current account with RBI. No, only commercial banks open account with RBI, not every citizen. So 1 and 2 are correct. The third point here is wrong. Are correct, 1 and 2. Open market operations is a monetary policy tool used by central banks to regulate the money supply in the economy. In this regard, consider following statements. The selling of government securities by RBI injects money. Government securities means RBI is selling you certificate. And if RBI is selling you certificate, RBI is asking you to buy certificate. If you buy something, you have to pay. It means the money in the economy, circulation of money in economy is getting reduced when RBI sells securities or liquidity goes down. So first one is wrong. Second one, Reserve Bank of India buys bonds to suck out extra liquidity from market. So when RBI buys those bonds or those treasury bills, certificates, it means RBI has to give you money. It means liquidity is not being sucked out, liquidity is increasing. 3, both selling and buying of government securities leads to inflation. No. Selling of securities, you have a piece of paper and for that you are giving, let's say, 100,000 rupees to the bank, RBI, treasury bill, or to the government, or a bond to a corporation. So you are buying it, liquidity goes down. Liquidity goes down, inflation comes down. Inflation is affected by liquidity. The more the liquidity, the more the money, the higher is likely to be rate of inflation. And if RBI is buying the securities, it means inflation will increase. So 3 is wrong here. Not correct. 1 to 3 all are incorrect. Here option is D. 23. Read the following statements carefully and select the correct answer using the codes given below. Sterilization is a form of monetary action in which a central bank seeks to limit the effect of inflows. That's the meaning of sterilization. Whenever there is any rapid change in the availability of capital or capital flow very rapidly, to reduce the impact of that capital inflow, capital outflow, RBI carries out sterilization. Sterilization is undertaken by central bank to maintain the stability of the exchange rate by withdrawing excess liquidity from the market. That's correct. Both are correct here. Option is C. 24. With reference to different types of deficits, consider following. Primary deficit, fiscal deficit minus interest payments. It is defined as difference between fiscal deficit and the previous year's interest payment. That's perfectly matched. Revenue deficit, whatever revenue is collected and whatever is spent. Income minus expenditure. It includes those transactions that have a direct impact on the government's current account income and expenditure. That's perfectly correct. Fiscal deficit is defined as excess of total expenditure or total receipt, including borrowings in a year, not borrowings in a year. So excluding borrowings in a year. So you have to exclude borrowings. That will give you fiscal deficit. So number 3 is wrong. 1 and 2 are right. How many of the pairs are correctly matched? Only 2. So B. 25. Consider following statements. Fiat money, also called legal tender, is a currency that is backed by some physical commodity. Fiat money is not backed by any physical commodity. It is backed by the promise of government. Fiat means promise of government. Fiat money carries a promise from a government or central bank that the currency is capable of being exchanged at its value in goods. Perfectly correct. Correct only 2. The second 5-year plan was a landmark contribution to the development planning in general. Which of the following were the correct reasons for the slower industrial development in India? Absence of capital goods industry, limited arena of operation, that was one of the reasons. These were the reasons behind slower industrial growth till the beginning of second 5-year plan. Limited area of operation of public sector, that's right. Lack of capital to invest, that's right. Demand was there, demand was available, but goods were not there. So it's not the lack of consumer goods demand. Demand was there. The availability of goods was missing. That was the reason. So 1, 2, 3, 4. 1 to 3 are correct. 4 is wrong. Correct? 1, 2, 3. 27. In the context of direct taxes, consider following statements. These taxes are paid directly by the people or organization to the government. That's correct. Income tax, corporation tax. These taxes are generally regressive. These are progressive in nature because they do not increase the value of the goods and services in the process. Regressive tax is that increases the value of goods and services, increases burden on the common people, or the tax results in higher burden on the poorest of the people, those who can't afford them. So these are progressive taxes. Excise duties and custom duties are part of indirect taxes, not direct taxes. These are indirect, because they are paid by us through the goods we purchase. If you don't purchase goods, you won't pay any excise or customs. 1 is right, 2 and 3 are correct. How many are correct? Only 1. 28. The enactment of Fiscal Responsibility and Budget Management Act, FRBM Act 2003, marked a turning point in fiscal reforms because this act asked the government to limit fiscal deficit up to a particular percent except in emergency situations. This act binds the government through an institutional framework to pursue prudent fiscal policy. That's the meaning of prudent fiscal policy. Don't indulge in too much of expenditure if your income is less. So don't incur deficit. This act mandates the central government to take appropriate measures to reduce fiscal deficit and revenue deficit so as to eliminate revenue deficit. Perfectly correct. Utna kharch karo, whatever you earn. So spend whatever you have in your pocket. Don't you spend too much. That is the message of FRBM Act. 3. This act also provides escaping clause to the revenue deficit in case of national security calamity in emergency. You can breach the limits. All the 3 are correct here. Option is D. 29. Read the following statements carefully. Select the correct answer using codes given below. The balance of payment records the transactions in goods and services between residents of a country with the rest of the world. So balance of payment has current account and the capital account. It takes into account goods and services. It takes into account the transfer or the movement of capital as well. So both are taken into account in BOP. Current account records all international purchases, sales of asset such as money, that is capital account. Current account for goods and services, capital account for transfer of capital. So this is wrong here. 3. Capital account records exports and import, that is current account. So current account will include import and exports. Capital account will include transfer of money, stocks, bonds, or transfer of capital across the borders. So 1 is correct, 2 and 3 are wrong. Option is correct, so only 1. Number 30. Consider the following statements about real effective exchange rates. Real. It is interpreted as a quantity of domestic goods required to purchase 1 unit of a foreign basket of foreign goods. 1 unit of a given basket of foreign goods. That's perfectly correct. It's like purchasing power parity. So what is the actual cost of the goods you're buying from outside the world? That tells you the real effective exchange rate. It assesses the relative value of country's currency against a basket of other currencies and is inflation adjusted. So not is wrong here, is inflation adjusted, because near adjusted for inflation is real. Nominal effective exchange rate. So nominal has inflation in it. Real has no inflation in it. So this is wrong. How many are not correct? Which of the statement not correct? It's only 2. 31. With respect to fixed exchange rate system, consider following statements. It is a monetary system in which the value of a country's currency is directly linked to a specific amount of gold. That's correct. That's fixed. Means you have some asset to back your currency, and the value of your currency is based on the value of that asset, and the most common asset used is gold. In this system, each participant country is committed to guarantee the free convertibility of its currency into gold, because the currency has a value in gold. Both are correct. Option is C. 32. In the context of special drawing rights, SDRs, consider following statements. It is also known as paper gold because at the time of its creation, it was viewed as an asset that could act as a reserve asset like gold. Perfectly correct. Special drawing rights were created by IMF, not World Bank. These are with IMF, International Monetary Fund. The value of SDR is based on the basket of world's leading currency. That's correct. US dollar, euro, yuan, Indian rupee is not a part of SDR. Dollar, euro, yuan, yen and pound is there. So 2 and 3 are wrong. 1 is correct. How many are correct? Only 1. Which among the following are the components of capital account in the balance of payment? Remittance, grant, capital account. Capital account means calculating transfer of capital, transfer of money across the border. Remittance is part of current account. Grants are part of current account, because once these are coming, we are not really going to pay them back. There is no liability created by these things. External borrowings, of course, FDI, these are part of capital account. These can go back. Select the correct statement. So which are parts 3 and 4? Option is B. Consider following payers. List 1, list 2. Income tax Corporation tax, so you have to match them up. Corporation tax levied and collected by central government, that is corporation tax. Income tax levied and collected by central government and shared with state with the help of, as per the recommendations of Finance Commission. So A to B1. Professional tax levied by state government, not central government. So 4. Stamp duty levied by central government, collected and appropriated by state government. So A2, B1, C4, D3. Option is B. In the context of law of demand means if you have demand of something, price will rise. Price will rise, so demand will ultimately go down. If price is less, demand will increase. It is a fundamental principle which states that there is a positive relationship between price of a commodity and quantity demand. This is negative relationship. Price will go up, quantity demand will go down. So there is a negative relationship, not a positive relationship. It states that as the price of a good or service increases, the quantity demanded of that good will decrease. That's correct. Only 2 is correct. 36. Which of the following are defining features of perfectly competitive market? Perfectly competitive market means, suppose think of these 2 things we are using here. So if there is a market selling these things, there are large number of sellers. There have to be large number of buyers so that one cannot monopolize. The entry and exit into the market conditions should be easy. So that way you need to see. Perfect information. We should have information about the products is that there are large number of sellers of the same product. Restricted entry, not restricted entry, free entry, easy entry. Heterogeneous product, not heterogeneous, homogeneous product. Homogeneous means product should be similar. If products are different, then you can't compare them. Products have to be same. Large number of buyers and sellers, of course. 1 and 4 are required for perfectly competitive market. B. 37. With reference to normal profit and break-even point, which of the following statements are correct? The minimum level of profit that is needed to keep a firm in existing business is defined in normal profit. Perfectly correct. The point on the supply curve at which the firm earns only normal profit is called break-even point. It means firm is earning sufficient money so that it can sustain for the time to come. That is normal point, normal profit, and that is a break-even point when the firm reaches. A firm cannot survive below break-even point of perfectly correct, because if you keep on spending money like nowadays, these ad tech firms, or you have Zomato, you have Swiggy, all these things, all these companies are spending money. Now Zomato is becoming positive. Cash positive means they are making small profit. And the last time they made profit of couple of crores. So it means profit is profit finally. It's not in minus. Whatever they have spent, maybe 10,000 crore, 20,000 crore so far, that will be recovered over the period of time. But now they will not have to spend from their pocket. That is a break-even point. 1 to 3, all are correct. D. 38. Which of the following personalities measured India's national per capita income? Dadabhai Nauroji played very important role. V.K. R.P. Rao, R.C. Desai. Dr. Ambedkar was not a part of these economic studies. So 1 to 3. The 5-year plans were introduced by Indian government to address the country's socio-economic challenges. In this regard, which of the following were the goals of 5-year plans? Growth, definitely. Equity, equitable distribution, equitable development, modernization, self-reliance, all of these were objectives of 5-year plan. That is the key to the planned economic development. I mean, there has to be a balanced, distributed economic development so that everyone gets along the path of progress. All the 4. 40. In which of the following cases opportunity cost will be 0? Opportunity cost means something that you can have today, you can have tomorrow without worrying about anything. For example, tomorrow is your exam. So you have a task to perform. Now, today night, when you're supposed to study, you have your cousin's marriage. So now there's a cost. Either you go to the cousin's marriage or you prepare for your exam. So exam has a cost, opportunity cost. If you want to do good in exam, you have to leave cousin's marriage. You cannot enjoy the dinner of cousin's marriage today, which others will have. You cannot go to the party. But think, you want to go for a walk in a park. Okay, tomorrow is your exam. Today you have to study. Park is not going to run away anywhere. Today you can escape. Tomorrow you can go to park again. So opportunity cost for going to park is zero. Park will remain the same. But opportunity cost for marriage is there. That is your exam. So that's what you have to understand. Something that you can have today, you can skip today, you can have tomorrow without any adverse impact, without any adverse cost. Opportunity cost of that thing is zero. For activities such as grazing land, perfectly correct. Opportunity cost will be zero for grazing the land because you can graze today, you can graze tomorrow. Public goods such as street lights and defense, because if they are not there tomorrow, there will be problem, could be problem. So that way commodity provided free to the public, opportunity cost could be high because if commodity is free, let's say water, and water doesn't come, there's a cost. A student may not go to school, families may have serious problems. So that way you have to understand. 41. Read the following statements related to liquidity trap. Means liquidity is so much, you cannot really do anything with it. What do we do? It adds to liquidity. That is liquidity trap. It occurs when monetary policy becomes ineffective due to very low interest rates. So if interest rates is very, very low, you cannot really do much. Liquidity is going to be very high. In this situation, the people keep their funds in fixed and demand deposit instead of investing in bonds and other financial instruments. People keep their money with them. That's why liquidity is too high. They don't deposit, they don't put the money in FDs and other kind of long-term deposits. In this situation, central bank starts increasing repo rate, it starts reducing repo rate to enhance liquidity in the money market. So rate is already low, liquidity is high, but economy is not growing. So what you can do, you have very little stuff to do. So central bank has to start reducing repo rate to enhance liquidity, or start increasing repo rate to reduce liquidity. That's what you have to understand. 1, 2, 3. 1 is right, 2 and 3 are wrong. Which of the following committees was constituted to report on methodology of estimation of poverty? Suresh Tendulkar committee that estimated how much per capita per day income should be there in a household, so that the household of 5 can be considered above or below poverty line. Union budget of a year is also referred as annual financial statement. In this context, consider following statement. The Department of Expenditure under Ministry of Finance is nodal agency. No. Budget division under Department of the budget division under DEA, Department of Estimation, under Ministry of Finance is a nodal agency. So budget division, not Department of Expenditure, Department of Economic Affairs. Department of Economic Affairs, which is part of Finance Ministry, and budget division of that Department of Economic Affairs, that is responsible for preparing the budget. Expenditure incurred for constructing new schools is classified as capital expenditure. Recovery of loans and proceeds from disinvestment are regarded as non-debt receipt. That's correct, because they are not creating any debt, that is your own asset. 1 and 2 are not correct. So not correct, you have to pay attention carefully. 44. Consider following pairs. Disinflation. Disinflation means a reduction in the rate of inflation. Inflation goes down. Deflation means inflation is negative. Price is going down. Not inflation, price, it's going down. That is deflation. So disinflation, inflation rate 10 to 9, 9 to 8, 8 to 6. That is disinflation. But the price is going down because if something was of 100 rupees, now it's become 90, 80. That is deflation. Reflation inflation is coming back. Price level increases when the economy recovers from recession. Stagflation is stagnation plus inflation. That is stagflation. Recession plus inflation. Stagnation plus inflation. That is stagflation. So 3 and 4 are rightly matched. 1 and 2 are not. How many of the pairs are correctly matched? 2. B. 45. With reference to National Food Security Act 2013, consider following statements. Under this act, up to 75% of rural population as well as 50% of the urban population are legally entitled to receive subsidized food. That's correct. This act aims to provide food and nutritional security to people at affordable prices. That's perfectly correct. Which of the statement? Both are correct here. Question number 46. If unemployment rate under the current daily status is higher than usual principal status in a stable economy, what is the meaning of this? Suppose you calculate the rate of employment for the period of 1 year. That is usual principal status. What is the annual rate of unemployment? So the annual rate of unemployment is 5%. And then you go to any specific time, current daily status. In that particular week, in that particular month, you find the rate of unemployment is high, let's say 20%. Significantly high. What is the problem? Problem is that people are getting employment during specific seasons, and during specific seasons they have little employment. This is what you say, seasonal employment. Seasonal. When the cropping time is there, when the harvesting time is there, employment is high in villages. But during the lean season, during the rainy season, employment is less in villages. So that is seasonal unemployment. 47. Personal income is derived from national income by deducting which of the following. Whatever you pay to the government back, suppose there is a GDP, and a part of GDP goes to the government that is not left with the people to spend, to consume. That you have to reduce. Something that people get from the government in terms of subsidies and assistance, that has to be added. So corporate tax, undistributed profits. Undistributed profits remain with companies, so they are not reaching the company, reaching the individuals, so they have to be reduced. Corporate tax has to be reduced. Net interest paid to the firms, that has to be reduced. Transfer payments have to be added up. Whatever government gives to people, whatever firms give to people, that has to be added to count personal income. 1, 2, 4. C. 48. In India, regulatory mechanisms were enforced in various ways before introduction of liberalization reforms 1991. In this regard, which of the following are correct? Every entrepreneur had to get permission from government official to start firm, close firm. This was the case during pre-1991 times. Private sector was allowed only in non-critical industries, and atomic industry is still a critical industry. So private sector is not allowed even today in atomic industry, so that we have to see private sector was allowed only in non-critical industries. There was control on price fixation and distribution of industrial products. Definitely there was control of price, control of taxes, everything was there. 1 and 3. 49. In the context of small-scale industries, consider following statements. Karve Committee, Dattareya Gopal Karve, D.C. Karve Committee was appointed for the purposes of development related to small-scale industries. Of course, this is in early years of Indian independence, 1955, by Government of India. A small-scale industry is defined with reference to the maximum investment allowed. That's correct. This investment limit varies from year to year. But whether something is small, something is large scale, the amount of money that is used as investment is one of the criteria. These industries are given concessions such as lower excise duty and bank loans at lower interest rate. Perfectly correct, because they are supposed to be helped by the government. So all the 3 are correct. C. 50. With reference to measurement of poverty, read the following statements carefully. Poverty gap measures the intensity of poverty and highlights extent to which individuals on average fall below poverty line. Poverty gap means if this is a poverty line, let's say you see 40 rupees per person per day. 40 rupees per person per day is a poverty limit. And then somebody is standing here at 20 rupees per person, somebody is standing here 30 rupees, somebody is standing here 10 rupees. So that is a poverty gap. How far below the poverty line the person is actually living. How much is the person suffering due to poverty? That way you can understand that. Sen index was developed Amartya Sen. Sen here, Amartya Sen, by Amartya Sen, our Nobel laureate. Sen index was developed to measure poverty on the basis of head count ratio. That's correct. Concept of poverty gap was developed by World Bank, not by IMF, by World Bank. 1 and 2 are correct, third is wrong. 51. Consider following statements about World Trade Organization. It was founded as the successor organization to get general agreement on tariffs and trade. That's correct. It was founded to facilitate trade between nations, promote economic growth, and provide platform for resolving trade dispute. That's correct. WTO agreements covers trade in goods only to facilitate us. WTO covers only trade in goods. Trade in goods only to facilitate international trade. No, trade in goods as well as in services. 1 and 2 are correct. Third is wrong. Option is B. 52. Which of the following are the advantages of midday meal scheme? Midday meal is for the kids. If kids are getting midday meal, then they will likely to go to school. They will attend the classes. Education standard will go up. Illiteracy will come down. And our national development will get a boost in the long run. Reducing dropout rates, of course. Encouraging children belonging to disadvantaged sections to attend school. That's correct. They will get food there, what they at times do not get at home. Nutritional support to children in drought-affected areas. Correct. Enhanced employment opportunities for women, because women could be used in cooking the food, in preparing food for the kids. So new employment opportunities come up for women. Select the correct answer using the code given below, all the 4. 53. Read the following statements about term outsourcing carefully. In outsourcing, a company hires regular service only from foreign countries. No, they can be from domestic countries. Company hiring from outside it. So company hires expert from outside of it, maybe within the country, maybe outside the country. You have to see that way. Many of the services such as voice-based VoIP, business processes, clinical advices are part of outsourcing. That's correct. India is a popular destination for global outsourcing due to low wage rates. That's correct. 2 and 3 are correct. 1 is wrong. Option is B. 54. Consider following statements regarding the economic growth witnessed post-1991. India witnessed a rapid economic growth in GDP on a continuous basis in the last 3 decades. So you think of 1991, say 3 decades, say 2021. So you can count any 3 decades from today and you will find high rate of growth has taken place. The growth in agriculture sector surpassed growth in industry. That's wrong. Growth in agriculture has been relatively lesser than industries and services. Foreign investment, including foreign direct investment and foreign institutional investment, increased tremendously. That's correct. 1 and 3 are correct. 2 is wrong. So you have to see 2 not correct. So 2. 55. Which of the following statements best describes head count ratio? It is the proportion of a population that lives below poverty line. That is known as head count ratio. How many people are actually suffering due to poverty, due to denial of basic services, basic amenities? 56. Which of the following are the salient features of Mahatma Gandhi National Rural Employment Guarantee at Manrega? It mandates that at least a third of the workers under this should be women. Correct. It covers all the districts of the country. Correct. Panchayat Samiti recommend, not Panchayat Samiti, Gram Panchayat, village Panchayat recommends the works. Panchayat Samiti is block level, Gram Panchayat is at village level, and Jila Panchayat is at district level. So village level, PRI, Panchayati Raj institution recommends the work, that is Gram Panchayat. 1 and 2 are correct. Okay, the fourth one. Social audit of workers by Gram Sabha has been made mandatory. Of course, Gram Sabha, Gram Panchayat, I hope you understand the difference. Gram Sabha means all the adult members of the village, they are Gram Sabha. Gram Panchayat, the elected representatives of village, they form Gram Panchayat. So Gram Sabha can go for social audit, can ask for questions where was the money spent and what is the actual work done on the ground. It can check. 1 to 4 are correct. You have to look for the correct one. So 1 to 4, that is C. 57. In the context of buffer stock, consider following statement. Buffer stock is the stock of food grains which is directly procured for farmers. Of course, government through FCI is procuring the food grains from farmers every year by using the regime of MSP. The concept of buffer stock was first introduced during 4th 5-year plan, perfectly all right, to counter the food scarcity. By this time, the Green Revolution had started making a real progress. So we could afford to have buffers. 1 and 2 are correct, both are correct, in fact C. 58. Read the following statements carefully. Public goods are provided through market mechanisms. Private goods are provided through market mechanism. Public goods like roads, park, sewer, water, electricity, schools, hospitals, these are generally provided through non-market mechanisms or by the government directly. Clothes, cars, food items are examples of public goods? No. Public goods means essential goods. Public goods are non-exclusable. Perfectly correct. You cannot exclude anybody out of them. That is, there is no feasible way of excluding anyone from enjoying the benefits of them. Perfectly correct. 1 and 2 are wrong. Third is correct. Only 1 is correct. 1 means only 3 here. So number you have to ask how many are correct. Consider following statements, following parameters. GNI, gross national income, mean years of schooling, expected years of schooling, adolescent birth rate. So, which of these are part of HDI? 1, 2, 3. Adolescent birth rate is not there. So, gross national income, and to be exactly correct, you have to see per capita. Gross national income per capita, this is a part. So 1 to 3 are part of this C. 60. Consider following statements. With the increase in GDP, disposable income decreases. With the increase in GDP, disposable income is supposed to increase. That's how you have to see. But it may not increase, because if population increase happens, disposable income may not increase, but it is not likely to decrease. So this is wrong. Government borrowing from people reduces the saving available for the private sector. That's correct. The cost of borrowing for private sector increases. A government indulges in high fiscal deficit, indulges in borrowing from the market. 2 is correct. 1 is wrong. With reference to poverty line estimation in India, consider following statements. Poverty line is determined on the basis of minimum level of food, clothing and other requirements for subsistence, correct? The calorie requirement for rural and urban areas are different. It's higher for urban areas. 2,400 calorie for rural areas are higher than the urban areas, that's correct. So 2,400 for rural areas, 2,100 for urban areas. So in rural area, people have to work harder physically. That's why calorie requirements are higher in rural areas, correct? The poverty line in India has been determined on the basis of consumption pattern and nutritional requirement. That's correct. Now these patterns have changed because Tendulkar committee adopted the value of poverty line in terms of per capita income, per person, per capita income per day. 1 to 3 are correct. 62. Which of the following are accounted for in current account or balance? Current account means goods and services and remittances. Exports, private transfer, remittances, not borrowing, not FDI. 1 and 2. 63. Consider following statements related to fiscal policy measures taken by government. Reduction in public expenditure, that is fiscal policy. Increase in taxes, fiscal policy. Interest rate is monetary policy controlled by RBI, not by government directly. So 1 and 2, not 3. 64. With reference to Antyodaya Ann Yojana, consider following statements. The eligible beneficiaries under this scheme are identified by state governments, UTs, through a process of survey and screening. That's correct. It provides highly subsidized food grains to the poorest to the poor. That's correct. Whether a statement not correct? None of them. Both are correct. So answer will be D. None of them is incorrect. 65. Which of the following is correct with reference to national disposable income? It gives an idea of what is the maximum amount of goods and services the domestic economy has at disposal. That's correct. It does not include transfers from rest of the world. It includes transfer from rest of the world because that is also available with the people for consumption. That also creates disposable income. Only one is correct. A. 66. Which of the following are known as Bretton Woods Institution, IMF and World Bank? Not World Economic Forum. 1 and 2 only. 67. Read the following statements. Fair price soap. Fair price soap means where you get free ration, kerosene, sugar, all these kind of things. They are also known as ration shops, which are established to distribute goods to India's poor. These shops keep a stock of food grains, not only food grains, sugar, kerosene oil and other things also. These shops were established by Ministry of Consumer Affairs, Food and Public Distribution. That's correct. 1 and 3. 68. With reference to treasury bills, consider following statements. There are zero coupon securities. Zero coupon securities means if you buy a treasury bill of 1000 rupee, you have 1000 written on them, but you'll buy in less. So discount is given. The value is what you buy. They are zero coupon securities issued at discount and redeemed at the face value. Correct? They are issued by central government and not state governments. Correct? They are usually long-term securities, short-term securities basically. These are 91 days, 182 days and 364 days. There are three forms of treasury bills. 1 and 2 are correct. B. 69. Consider the following occupations. How many of the occupations given above come under primary? Primary. Tailor is a secondary. Manufacturing. Milk vendor is service, basically is selling. Fisherman is a primary. Moneylender is again is a secondary, tertiary you can say. Potter is a secondary in manufacturing. So only fisherman, 3, only 1. 70. In the context of national income accounting, consider following statements regarding inventory of a firm. It is stock variable which includes the stock of unsold finished goods but not the raw material. Stock of unsold finished goods as well as raw material, both are included in it. So national income has raw materials as well as the stock as a part of it. The rise in the value of investment of a firm over a year is treated as investment expenditure. That's correct. So only 2 is correct, 1 is wrong. 71. Read the following statements about marginal cost of funds based on MCLR. That is marginal cost of funds based lending rate. It is the minimum interest rate of a bank below which normally bank cannot lend. That's correct. It is determined by regular intervals by the bank itself. So bank themselves determine it, not outsiders or not someone else. Only 1, that is A. 72. Consider following statements. India has 3-tier quasi-judicial machinery for the redressal of consumer dispute. That's what district, state and national level. The levels of quasi-judicial machinery are set up according to the monetary value of economic change. That's correct. If a case is dismissed at district level, it will go to state level and it can go to national level depending on the dispute or depending on the money or the amount of dispute involved in it. 1 and 2 are correct, 3 is wrong. Not correct, 3. 73. With respect to quality standards, consider the following statements. It is compulsory for all producers to follow quality, not all producers, the food one, consumable, high cost, gold, silver, all those kind of things, they have to follow quality standard. Food, it is compulsory. Hallmark is a quality certification for products like gold ornaments, silver ornaments, jewelry, costly item, not LPG. Which of these are correct? Neither, 1 nor 2. 74. In the context of Consumer Protection Act 1986, consider following statements. This act aims to protect the rights of consumers and ensure fair trade practices in the marketplace. That's correct. India is the only country in the world that has exclusive authority over consumer redressal. Not really. There are many countries that have such acts. The products bought through internet are also protected under this act, so it's wrong. 1 is right, 2 and 3 are wrong. Option is 1. 75. Which of the following are essential characteristics for a good to be final good? Final good means it should be consumable. It should not undergo through any further processing. It could be durable, it could be non-durable. It must be in the form of consumption good, that's it. It should be used by final consumer without any further processing. That's what you have to see, without any further processing. It does not undergo any further transformation. That's correct. It must be non-durable in nature. It could be durable or non-durable, 1 and 2. 76. Which of the following are included in terms of credit? Terms of credit means when you take loan from somebody, NBFC or a bank, then what are the kind of terms and conditions discussed? Interest rate, collateral, mode of repayment, how will you pay, and bank deposits. 1 to 3. So the bank deposits are not there because you may have bank deposit, you may not have. And if you have bank deposit, why will you take a loan? So mode of payment, these things are taken into account. Which of the following is indicated by term base year? Base year means the reference year. In case of GDP, we take a base year, okay, 6% is increasing with respect to the previous year. Inflation, again, we have base year. It makes the growth or the change easy to understand. The year whose prices are being used to calculate real GDP, that is base year. In the context of informal lenders, consider following statement. These lenders include money lenders, traders, correct? Reserve Bank of India is not responsible for regulating them. Nobody regulates them. These are unregulated lenders. Informal lenders charge much higher rate of interest. This is wrong here. 1 and is correct. 2 and 3 are wrong, so not correct. 2 and 3. 79. Consider following statements carefully. Disguised unemployment appears when worker production is essentially zero. No further addition is taking place if you add somebody in the workforce, and no production will decline if you remove the person or additional people from the workforce. Increase in unemployment is an indicator of depressed economy. That's correct. Increase in employment is the rate of growing economy. Unemployment increasing, depression in economy is indicated by that. So both 1 and 2. 80. With reference to ways and means advance, WMA, consider following statements. Under this mechanism, the government borrows from RBI for temporary mismatch. That's correct. And it is in the form of overdraft. That's correct. The limits for WMA for the center are decided by RBI only. That's correct. There are two kinds of special and normal. Special ways and means advances. Mechanism interest is charged below repo rate because they use collateral. Collateral is used in that, so this is wrong. 1 and 2 are correct, third is wrong. So these were the questions on economic development topics, and now we'll have questions related to current affairs, so current developments for the period which is mentioned in your test schedule. Let us see. Question number 81. The recently District Good Governance Index was seen in news. In this context, consider following statements. This index is developed by Ministry of Finance, Ministry of Personnel, and Arunachal Pradesh government. So Department of Personal Grievances and Arunachal Pradesh government, not by Ministry of Finance. It serves as a valuable tool for providing guidance to the state government and district administration. That's correct. Meghalaya is the first, not Meghalaya, Arunachal Pradesh is the first state in Northeast to adopt it. So this is wrong. Only one is correct. 1 and 3 are wrong. 2 is correct. So only one statement is correct. In recent times, the term Captagon pill was seen in news. This is produced in Syria and non-addictive is highly addictive. This is wrong. It's produced in Syria but it's highly addictive. This drug can cause loss of appetite, weight and other problems. That's correct. Choose the correct answer, only 2. 83. With reference to solar wind, read the following statements carefully. It is a stream of energized charged particles that primarily contain electrons and protons, not neutrons, ENPs. So this is wrong here. It originates from outermost layer of the solar atmosphere known as corona, correct. Solar winds travel much faster than the speed of sound, much faster than the speed of sound. That's correct. They travel much faster than the speed of sound, so this will be correct. 1 is wrong, 2 and 3 are correct. How many are correct? 2. With reference to Silent Barker, consider following statement. It is a constellation of satellites which will be launched by US Space Force. That's correct. It will provide capabilities to search, detect and track objects from space. Correct. The satellites in this constellation will be placed in geostationary orbit or geosynchronous orbit, not in low Earth orbit. So how many correct? 2. Recently, Government of India, United Nations Sustainable Development Cooperation Framework 2023-27 was signed. In this framework is built on 4 strategic pillars on which the following areas: health and well-being, economic growth, poverty alleviation is not a part of it, quality education, nutrition and food security. These are there. So 1, 2, 4, 5. Let's see. In the context of hypersonic wind tunnel, hypersonic more than Mach 5, consider following statements. It is a type of wind tunnel that is used to test materials and vehicles designed to operate at hypersonic speed that is more than Mach 5. Mach is basically speed of sound. 1 Mach means equal to speed of sound. 2 Mach, double of the speed of sound. 5 Mach, 5 times the speed of sound. So fast moving objects, such as fighter planes, their speed is kind of calculated in terms of Mach. It's a high pressure vacuum driven, and that's correct. 3. India is one of the first. US and then Russia became the countries, not India. USA and Russia. Only 2. 87. With reference to tactical land radio, it's a high bandwidth backhaul wireless radio equipment which is indigenously designed and developed by Astrodome. Astrom Technologies, located in Bangalore. Not DRDO, is a private company. It has cutting-edge features including embedded frequency hopping. Hopping means shifting mechanism so that no one can trap you, no one can record you, no one can, you can say, get to know what you're talking on the radio set. It aims to provide reliable communication for armed forces. That's correct. Only 2 are correct. 88. Recently, the Gola River flows through Uttarakhand and then comes into UP. Which are the following countries, states, Uttarakhand, UP, North Himachal and Haryana. 1 and 2. Gola River was in news because of floods caused by it. Many people lost their lives. Many houses were damaged because of flood in Gola River. With respect to the term loss default guarantee, consider following statements. It is an arrangement between regulated entity and fintech lending service providers. That's correct. It has not been allowed in digital lending. This is digital lending stuff. Fintech means digital lending. It is regulated by RBI. That's correct. 1 and 3 are correct. B. 90. In the context of National Time Release Study report, consider following statement. This report was released by Central Board of Indirect Taxes. Because this report is about how much time does it take when containers arrive from foreign countries and before they are released by port authorities or the customs authorities. It serves as a vital performance measurement tool to assess duration of cargo release processes. Correct, both are correct. 91. Recently, the term Atlantic Declaration was in use. In this regard, consider following statements. It is an economic partnership framework between US and UK, not Germany, US and UK, to address the issues of 21st century. That's correct. The declaration aims to leverage the energy transition and technological breakthrough to drive shared growth. That's correct. This declaration explicitly recognizes the challenges that threaten international stability. Correct. So 2 and 3 are correct here, 1 is wrong. 92. With reference to UN Security Council, which the following countries are included in list of permanent. There are P5, 5 permanent members. Who are that? US, UK, France, you have China. So France, Russia, USA, UK, not India. They are P5. 1, 2, 3 and 5. 93. Recently, Gabon's first Agri-SEZ project was flagged off in New Delhi. Consider for a statement about the Gabon is equatorial country, not on tropical cancer, in equatorial area. Official language is French because this was a French colony earlier. 93. 2. Which of the following are listed as areas of research under National Mission on Advanced and High Impact Research? Mahir. Carbon capture, geothermal, high efficiency and nanotech, but not AI. AI is not a part of it. 1 to 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, B. 95. In the context of general consent to CBI, consider following this. It is a statutory provision under which the CBI is required to obtain prior permission from concerned state. That's correct. Tamil Nadu is the first state that has decided to withdraw general consent, not Tamil Nadu. This is wrong. CBI is governed by Delhi Police Establishment Act 1946. That is correct. But before Tamil Nadu, there was already issues with Bengal and northeast countries. Only 2. With reference to military exercise recently seen in news, EU Varin with India and Maldives, Maiden Maritime, India, France, Nomadic is India, Mongolia. That's correct. How many are correctly matched? Only 1. 97. Consider following statements about chikungunya. This first ever outbreak of chikungunya had occurred in Tanzania. Correct. It is transmitted through the bite of infected mosquito Aedes aegypti. Aedes aegypti, aegypti. That's the mosquito that carries chikungunya virus. At present, tropical regions experience highest. That's correct. 1, 2, 3. All are correct. 98. Consider following statements about Poshan Abhiyan. It was launched to achieve improvement in nutrition status of 0 to 6 years kids. That's correct. Under this program, Poshan Vatikas are being set up across the country. That's correct. This Abhiyan targets to reduce stunting. That is also correct. All 3. On World Environment Day this year, Amrit Dharohar Yojana was launched by Government of India. This is in the regard consider following statement. It focuses on conservation of existing Ramsar sites. There are 75 Ramsar sites in India. Of course, this Yojana has component of ecotourism, part of it, because ecotourism is a very environment-friendly activity that helps in giving employment to people. And in the age of AI, tourism will be one of the few economic activities which will left out to human beings. The launch of this Yojana is a reflection of India's commitment to conserving wetland. That's correct. 1, 2, 3, all are correct. 100. The last question here. Which of the following are the criteria for the identification of particularly vulnerable tribal groups? PV, TCs. Low level of literacy, pre-agricultural technology. Social isolation is not the criteria because tribals are supposed to be socially isolated. Economic backwardness, declining or stagnant population. These are the 4 criteria. So 1, 2, 4 and 5. So dear students, this was a discussion of your economic development test paper. I hope you have noted down the points and you have checked your answers. In case you have any other difficulty further, always feel free to meet me here in office, to contact me through teacher support or through mail. You're always welcome to see me here. I'm always here to help you. So keep working hard and keep moving ahead. All the best. God bless you.